Welcome. It is the Nisha Jackson Show, one of my favorite times of the week. And if you're smart, it should be one of your favorite times, too. There's Nisha Jackson, and she's the star of this show, and she's an author and a doctor, and somebody you really should be listening to because she'll change your life in a good way. And you've just experienced what a lot of people experience with you, but on the other side, Nisha, you went to this great retreat in Costa Rica. We talked about it in the last show, but I wanted to do a thing where we kind of learn a little bit about what you learned and some of the things that you can share with us that maybe we can do.
Right. Yeah, thanks for letting me talk about this because it's not something I was going to talk about because it was a very personal journey for me. I was just dealing with a lot of stress. Ironically, my book Brilliant Burnout came out 3 months ago, and I just thought I had the whole stress thing wired. Like I got it all figured out. I teach people how to reduce their stress and take care of themselves and feel better. And I'm like the stress expert, right? But I was under too much stress, and I think a lot of it was emotional. And I just was looking for something that had a combination of body treatments and emotional treatments and therapy that would really kind of move me quickly, because I like to do everything at Mach speed. So I want complete 100% transformation in 8 days.
Okay.
But
I bet every one of your patients wants that too. When they come in, they got hormone issues. Okay, give me a hormone, give me a little progesterone, the happy hormone, let me rub it in, and I'm better tomorrow, right?
Who doesn't want things this fast? Like we all want them that fast.
Yes.
So that was what I was looking for. It was like Mach speed, complete realignment with my soul, So this retreat was called Rhythmia. It's in Costa Rica. It's a fabulous center. It's a beautiful place, incredible staff, super well done, very professional, very comfortable. I went by myself, which is something I've never done. I've never gone to another country by myself, and certainly to a retreat like this, it was a very required a high level of bravery to do this.
And probably a lot of big sticks because I'm guessing every single guy in a 100-mile area was coming after you.
Well, not quite.
Okay, 50-mile area. Sorry, I don't want to exaggerate. But I'm sure that kind of probably was distracting. You wanted to go and just focus, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, it was really good. There were 60 plus of us there, and we were all going through the treatment at the same time. It was a combination of massage therapy, yoga, meditation, breathing work, colonics, hydrocolonic therapy, which we probably should do a show on that at some point for just the purpose of detox.
Yeah, can I just stop you there just for a second?
I knew you would.
Colonic, really? Is that something that makes a difference? That kind of, obviously, and for folks who don't know, look it up.
Colon hydrotherapy it's actually something I've done in the past many times. But it's just a really good way of cleansing the colon. And if you think about your colon needing to absorb all of the nutrients from your food or the supplements that you're taking, and that colon wall getting caked with poop, think about it.
Do I have to?
That's stuck there for maybe years or months, and not being able to be a good absorber of nutrients. And then it's no wonder people start looking awful. Their skin looks awful. They start getting body pain. They start noticing mental disorders because they're not getting the essential nutrients they need to get because they're not absorbing through their colon like they should. So that's a whole nother topic. But
how often would you suggest you go for a Roto-Rooter?
I had 3 of them done last week. But I would suggest that at least once a month that you go and have one done.
No, really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, this is like, why would you not want to get cleaned out once a month? It's not uncomfortable at all.
Okay, why has my doctor not said, hey, you need to get one of those once a month? I mean, I've never heard of that.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. This is I'm getting off on some trails here, but I'm glad you said that because I just had this conversation at lunch today with my kids, and And
hold on, you and your kids are talking about colon cleansing.
Oh no, my children grew up with me, so they're comfortable talking about anything. And
I'm just saying, not a conversation I've had in my house, but probably should have.
We even had it over lunch today.
Yum, yum. Hey, how was that colon cleansing? Go ahead.
That's like next level sick.
Yes.
Anyway, so I think it's really important to have that. But the topic got brought up today is like, why doesn't my doctor ever talk to me about things like this? And I think we have to get away from saying that, because it is really unrealistic to think that physicians and practitioners today can be an expert in everything. They don't understand nutrition like they should. They don't understand self-care like they should. They have 10 minutes, 15 minutes in the office. They're not going to get into colon hydrotherapy if you have chronic constipation or skin disorders or whatever it might be that looks like maybe you're not absorbing your nutrients. They're not going to go there. They're going to send you to a GI doc. And the GI doc is going to want to perform a test to see if there's anything wrong. If there's nothing wrong, they're going to say there's nothing wrong. I'll see you in a year. So they can't be experts in everything, and it's really not their fault.
Okay.
So we should be autonomous enough in our own self-care, our own medical care, that we can research things and get information from experts that are experts in other areas. So I'm glad you said that, because I just had this conversation today, and I do think it's important that we are responsible for our own health, and that if we're not getting the information that we need, we can seek it out. There are specialists in all sorts of areas, and
okay. So I don't mean to interrupt you, because what you said is very nice, and it's very nice to other doctors that aren't keeping up. But I didn't go to college to learn how to be a doctor. I don't know what's wrong with me, and just look, there's plenty. So I pay this. I pay a guy to clean my car. His job is to make sure my car is done when it's done. I pay a gal to cut my hair. She's supposed to do it just right, and I go to the doctor to tell me what's wrong exactly and tell me what to do. So why are you giving them a pass?
Well, I guess probably because I'm enlightened now. I've been to a retreat. I'm filled with so much love and joy that I just feel so great, and I just can't throw them under the bus, because I really don't feel that way. Namaste.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way about them. I just think that, they're doing the best that they can. And there's so much information out there, Rusty, that people can seek and research and see what's right for them. So anyway, back to Rhythmia. Yeah. I love Rhythmia. Yeah. I'm going to go there once a year. I'm going to send my whole family there, and probably a lot of my practitioners that work for me that are really open to it, because I think it's one of those things to literally take you where you're at and what you're dealing with and what you have been through in your life, and literally, like on hyperspeed, move you forward, getting realigned with yourself. And what I mean by that is getting you back to your true self. And I think it's so easy in today's world, Rusty, to get away from who you really are. Just like I said at the beginning of the show, and even last show, about I was starting to get irritable. Like, things were setting me off, like really setting me off. I was even snapping at my daughter, who I adore. I have two daughters. I have two daughters, but I get the privilege of working with my oldest daughter on a daily basis. I work with both of them, but my oldest daughter I work with on a daily basis. And I even found it, she would ask me a question at 4:00 in the afternoon that really needed to be answered from a company standpoint. And I was like snapping, and that's just not me. And I don't want it to be me. And so anyway, I was starting to notice some signs of I was just getting unwound. And it's not really that surprising when you think about what we put ourselves through today in this world. It's not surprising that we're not all crackheads. I mean, we're just not all completely mad. So anyway, and I do a lot of good things to for myself, but I could be doing more. And I learned that this week. And I also learned how important it is to move through emotional stuff, baggage that needs to be tossed out. So one of the things that that I learned, I talked about this in my book, is how important breathing is. But this type of breathing that I learned that I'm going to continue to do, hopefully until I can't breathe anymore, is the type of breathing that allows the channels to open up between your body and your brain.
Okay, now a lot of us, and I'm going to let you get it, but a lot of us, I breathe. I mean, I breathe all the time. I'm a pretty good breather. I haven't had a problem. What's different? What am I not doing that I need to be doing?
Right. So people go through their day breathing or not breathing. I mean, unfortunately, Americans, the whole world is notorious for breath holding. We're driving down the road and we're holding our breath because we're thinking and we're not breathing. In fact, if you're conscious about your breathing and the level of the healthiness of your breathing, you would probably recognize you're holding your breath a lot. When people get stressed or they're in a meeting or they're having an intense conversation, or like I said, they're driving down the road and they're trying to just get somewhere quickly and they're feeling the stress of their day, they're not breathing. So, and they're not breathing so that their belly is expanding. They're breathing from their chest and it's shallow. So if you just take a breath right now, let's just try taking a breath in through your mouth with your mouth open about 2 inches. And you're expanding your belly out. So you're trying to push the air so that your belly goes out.
Okay, but I don't want to expand my belly anymore.
Rusty, I promise you people are not breathing like this. You never see people breathing like this. And it is kind of weird to breathe like that, obviously.
Actually, maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm just breathing that good all the time. This isn't fat. It's just breathing good. No, probably not.
That's right. You're just doing nice yoga breathing. Anyway, so the goal is, of course, the breathing that we did at the retreat was called Transformational Breathing. And it was an hour and a half of deep breathing that got you into almost a hypnotic state so that you could really open up the channels between your body and your brain and get into a very wonderful, beautiful relaxation. And I'm telling you, this stuff adds years to your life. It relieves anxiety, it relieves depression, it helps with body pain, it helps with concentration and memory and focus. So, but one of the things I brought home that I'm going to continue to do on a daily basis is called 100 breaths. And everybody in the world should start doing this. This is the easiest thing you can do. And you could just do it before you go to sleep at night. And that is taking 100 breaths. It takes you about 5 minutes to go from 1 to 100 breathing, where you're opening your mouth and you're bringing the air in, and it's a continuous breathing. So you breathe in 100 times. And
you don't get panic, you don't get hyperventilated and need to get a bag or anything like that. I mean, it sounds.
I think that's the thought that you're going to get that. That's why a lot of people don't want to do it, but you actually don't.
Okay. And
100 breaths goes pretty fast. I mean, 5 minutes of breathing is not going to kill you, right? So, but you're inhaling and exhaling, more accentuation on the inhale and less on the exhale, but you're still doing the inhale, exhale, and raising your belly down. People would sleep better. They probably would get into a stage 4 sleep more easily. And they would probably wake up more rested if they would just oxygenate their brain before they went to sleep. I mean, this is basic stuff, right? Oxygen in your brain helps you sleep better.
Okay, can you show us what you're talking about? I mean, you did just a second of it, but show us better.
So you don't want your shoulders going up and down. I think mine did that once. You want your belly going up and down. And you're just laying in bed and doing it. Now, if you could do that at night and then in the morning before you got up, or maybe at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you did another 5 minutes of breathing, I'm telling you, I think our whole day would look different. I think that we would have less clutter in our brain. I think that we would be more clear. I think we would have less irritability. I think people would fly off the handle less frequently. I know this would happen. So this is a very simple thing that doesn't take much time, that would give you so much of a higher vibration.
So why do you think that is? Is it more about the air and the oxygen, or is it more, because it sounds like it's kind of a meditative state for 5 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, you can think about whatever you want to think about, but it's better just to think about your breathing. And it is a form of meditation, but really it's giving you some wonderful benefits of just getting oxygen in your body, like all the way to your cells. And if you think about it, we're not oxygenating our cells as well as we should. See, you're yawning. You need
Well,
oxygen.
it's funny that you talk about that, and it's kind of making me yawn. Why is that? Just a psychological thing or something else going on? It's weird.
Well, it's interesting. So yawning, especially, I learned that in this week, is that there was one of the evening sessions that I was in treatment, going through the treatment, and that's a whole nother story. But there was one session, I think I yawned 1,000 times. I'm not kidding. I yawned. I kept yawning and yawning and yawning. And yawning is a way of cleansing your body, and it's almost like an emotional cleanse.
So it wasn't that you were bored.
No, it's like a release. And so you may find that when you do these 100 breaths that you're yawning because you're releasing. And that's a beautiful thing. That's exactly what you want. You actually see you're doing it again. It's awesome. You're not bored with my talk at all. You're just releasing.
I'm not bored with your talk. But I wonder if just thinking about these things is what's making me think that. And you're talking about you're going to have your whole staff go to this place. I want to go. I mean, it sounds like a pretty cool place, a life-changing place.
Yeah, it really is. I think it's well worth the time and money, because if we have the choice to live our life more authentically, and we have the choice of realigning ourselves with who we are supposed to be, or who we really are, and to be able to also confront some things about ourselves that isn't so pretty, things that maybe we've become that really is not who we were supposed to become. I do think not only the world would be a better place, but we would feel better, we would age better, our spirits would be up, our relationships would be enhanced. I think about some of the relationships that have been harmed in my life in the past because I've not dealt with some of these things. And like I said in the previous show, you don't have to be a crazy person to be dealing with things like anger or resentment or sadness. You don't have to be a crazy person. This is like day-to-day stuff, but it affects you all the way down to your cells, to the point that you eventually will get sick. And I just didn't want to go down that path. I'm always looking for better and healthier, and I'm always exploring new things to do that, not only for other people that I can share it with, but truly myself, because if I'm not in most alignment with myself, I can't really help people.
Sure.
And that's what I was put on this earth to do, is to help people and to bring more health to them. And so I really learned that healing people heals people, and or healed people heals people. And so I want to continue to do that.
So you've given a lot of free publicity to Rhythmia. Now, would you suggest someone go to Rhythmia over, let's say, Vegas? Any difference there?
That's so funny.
Or New Orleans. Yeah.
That's so funny you said that, because a couple of us were talking about that. It's like, the vacations that we go on, and, the people that were at this retreat, there were physicians there were CEOs of huge companies there were artists, there were professors, there were people from all over the world that had come to just have this week of sort of revitalization. And we were all talking about these crazy vacations that we've been on, like really wild, cool vacations we've been on. And yet everybody said the same thing. This is the best trip I've ever been on. I mean, by far. Because when you get healed with things that maybe you didn't even know were a problem, and you experience extreme joy and relief and being unloaded, it feels like the best thing ever. I know you're an amazing entrepreneur. Knowing your brain, are you going, how can I make one of these happen in America? Oh, absolutely. Day 2, I was thinking that.
Well, I'm ready to sign up for that one.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Anything else that you want to get out? I mean, you learned breathing techniques. Any other quick techniques you want to show us before we shut her off for today?
Yeah. So one of the things that I think is really important to just pass on, because it gave me a lot of a different perspective. And that is, we talked about the self-care, how important it is to eat foods that are really high vibration foods, colorful foods, foods from the ground, and foods that raise our energy, that have no preservatives. They're completely untouched by man. Unfortunately, this takes some thought process of finding them. They're not going to be found at McDonald's. They're not going to be found.
What?
I know.
But they got salad at McDonald's. French fries. Those are real potatoes. They got vibrations, right? No.
I know. It's just such a terrible thing that we do to ourselves. But feeding our body, just like maintaining our car, we have to maintain our body in order for it to run at a really good level so that we can do what we were meant to do on this earth. And so one of the things that I think is super simple to do is that when you are trying to make a decision about whether you should do something or not, whether you should eat a certain thing, whether you should go out and do a certain thing, whether you should partake in a certain activity or develop a certain friendship, I think that you have to ask yourself, what does this mean to me? Does this raise my vibration? Will this make me a better person? Or is this going to cause me to operate at a lower frequency? And that would include choosing to hang around negative people. It would include deciding to eat, have another espresso at 3 p.m. with a candy bar. It could be choosing to not sleep that night in lieu of going out and doing something crazy and getting sleep deprived. And it might just be that you just forego your meditation and breathing exercises. Mm-hmm. Whatever it might be, try to be conscious about what you're doing to your body. Because just know that whatever you're doing on a day-to-day basis with your body and what you're giving yourself, feeding yourself, bringing into what you're choosing to believe, whatever story you're choosing to believe, because we do get addicted to certain stories like I'll never lose weight, I'll never be a positive person, I'll never get a good night's sleep, I'll never have a healthy relationship, my husband will always be a piece of dirt, my kids will never listen to me. Whatever the story that we keep telling ourselves is exactly what it will always be. So just looking at the stuff that we choose to believe and the things that we put in our body and we put in our brains every day is so important to determine the direction that our lives go. And being 55 now, I really have to be conscious about how I spend the second half of my life because I want to stay in the game for a long time. And so I got to operate at a really high frequency, but you can't do that by going balls to the wall 24/7 and not doing all the wonderful things that you need to do for yourself. So anyway.
You think you can do it?
I know I can do it. I'm 100% sure I can do it.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Her name is Nisha Jackson. Guys, she has a book out called Brilliant Burnout: How Successful Driven Women Can Stay in the Game by Rewiring Their Bodies, Brains, and Hormones. Now, after you've done this big retreat, is the book accurate?
It is. It is. Absolutely. Everything in it is exactly what I would want people to know and understand. And it really explains a lot about what happens to your body when you're under stress, what happens to your stress glands, what happens to your hormones, what happens to your brain, what kind of foods you should be eating, what kind of exercise is good for people that are tripped out on stress, how do you lose weight, how do you get the fat off your body by eating well and taking care of yourself. I think that rhythmia was for me, it was just the cherry on the cake. It was just, it worked more on the emotional level, which I think is really good for people. And I don't care who you are. Everybody has something that they're wrestling with. And I think it's good to just cleanse that out frequently. But certainly a retreat like this, at least once in your lifetime.
Well, I'm proud of you, and I can totally see it in you, and it's exciting. If you want to find out more and work with Nisha, I suggest you do it. I've done it. NishaJackson.com for more information. Also, Peak Medical Clinics. Is it clinic?
Singular.
Yeah, just Peak Medical.
Peak Medical Clinic.
It is Peak Medical Clinic. Okay, well,
just no.
We have it wrong down below. No, it's just Peak Medical Clinic. Does Peak Medical do anything? No.
It won't take you to me. And that would be so sad.
Don't do that. If just because I put something wrong down, we'll get that fixed. Okay. Actually, I'm going to fix it right while I was watching. Okay. Peak Medical Clinic.
There you
Clinic.
go.
And clinic is not with a K anymore. I'm kidding. peakmedicalclinic.com. There it is. Peakmedicalclinic.com. Okay. And Nisha, even easier, nishajackson.com, right?
There you go.
And do us a favor, would you tell your friends that, if they want to learn more about themselves and stress and breathing techniques, and we've done 4 shows and you've hardly mentioned hormones.
I know. I can't wait to get into hormones and the brain. I can't wait to talk about the brain.
All right, so we got a lot going on, and we're doing shows every week, so you don't want to miss them. Her name's Nisha Jackson. Go check her out again, nishajackson.com. I'm Rusty Humphries, hanging out with her just because I got the best job in the world, and thank you very much, and we'll check you out next time here on The Nisha Jackson Show.